This would all just be so much easier if my kids could come in. Okay. All right. Hopefully I have some class here. Can you tell if I have anybody?
Yes, you have 4.
Oh, okay. That's about typical, huh? To begin with. So, good morning. I am anxious to get my hands on your packets so that I can get some grading started to see how you guys did last week. So I will have access to those at 10 o'clock today. So I will start grading today, and it may take me, it may take me a couple of days to get through it all, but I hope you guys did well. If you have looked already on the assignment for today, this could be a very short day. So the assignment for today is, I'm just going to put it up on the board in case you don't have your paper in front of you. All we're going to do today is work on review 8.1, numbers 7 through 16 on pages 388 and 389. So some of that is we're gonna skip because we skipped in the book. So just to do a quick refresh, let's just walk through the review. And so you look at toward the bottom of page 388. You're going to start at number 7, so you can see the little section there. The problems 7 through 10 are just 4 factoring problems. So that is very old stuff. That was way back toward the beginning of the year when we did factoring, but that's something that you can't forget how to do. So you're going to do a little more factoring. Keep in mind that not everything factors. So, some things are what we call prime. So that's what those 4 problems are. And the next 2 is very recent. It is finding the complement and the supplement to an angle. The next 2 are just finding that missing angle of a triangle, because you know how many degrees are in every triangle. And then on 15 and 16, the last 2 that you're going to do, the directions tell you to label each side of the triangle as opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse, and that is in reference or in relation to the reference angle. The reference angle is the one that's marked with that little tick mark, sort of, that little arc. So in relation to that angle, so for number 15, it's angle B. For number 16, it's angle A. So you're going to label that triangle according to those angles. Yes?
So Maggie wants to know, how do we factor number 9? She couldn't find the book.
Well, you should notice that they are perfect squares. And then you need to pay attention to the sign. See if it'll factor. Anytime you have perfect squares, you always want to try just square rooting the ends. But that sign is either going to make or break that. So just pay attention to that sign and tell me what you think after you look at it. So that's the assignment for today. So I just wanted to make myself available today to to give you guys a chance to look through the review to see if you had any questions, like Magda did, and also to see if you had any questions about yesterday's assignment. So I'm just going to hang out here for just a few minutes just to see if you guys have any questions. And I'm kind of curious to see what Magda comes up with on that problem too, if you want to tell me. You may want to keep it to yourself. I don't know.
Ryan asked if you can do one of the factor ones with him.
Because you guys are forgetting. Have you guys forgotten how to factor? All right. So we'll do number 7. We'll do number 7. Let's see if I can get you guys warmed up. Okay, so this is a binomial. You're accustomed to factoring a trinomial, okay? So let me make up a trinomial. Let me make one that'll factor, so hang on. Give me just a second, guys. I don't want to throw something up there that won't factor. Okay, so this is just a sample problem. This is not one of your review questions, but just to refresh you on factoring. So I'm going to try to factor this. Obviously, the first thing that you always ask yourself, Ethan, is what can I factor out of everything? Because that's what Ethan loves to do. He loves to pull things out of everything. So there is not anything, though, that can come out of all of these. So I'm just going to start factoring like this. This is what I look at first. This sign tells me if these signs are going to be the same or if they're going to be different. Okay? So unfortunately, none of you are in the room for me to quiz and ask you, so I just have to tell you. Otherwise, I have to wait, like, I don't know, 2 minutes maybe to get your answers. So when this is a minus sign, that tells me that these signs are going to be different. If it was a plus sign, it would tell me they were going to be the same, right? You guys remember all this. So, but this tells me it's going to be different, so just stick in different signs. It doesn't matter, okay? Hypothetically speaking, though, if this had been a positive, this would have told me that my signs were going to be the same. This would tell me what they are, okay? But that's not the case. So in factoring, I'm looking for, I know that these have to be x's because when I FOIL these, there's only one way to get an x squared, and that's x times x. Okay. Now I'm looking for factors of 6. So here are my factors of 6. And since my signs are different, they have to subtract to this number, which is a -1, right? There's not a number there, so I understand that there's a 1 there. By virtue of the fact there's an x there, there's 1 there. So they have to multiply to 6, so that I'm choosing from these guys, and they have to subtract to a -1. So these have a difference of 1, so I know that those are the two numbers I'm going to use. And this sign tells me where to stick my larger number. My larger number has to take this sign. So the 3 goes here, the 2 goes here. So if I were to check it, I would check this, my answer, by FOILing. Okay, so when I multiply my first two terms, that's x squared. My outside terms are positive 2x. My inside terms are negative 3x. My last terms are -6. These two middle guys combine. 2 minus 3 is a -1x. Okay, that does get me right back there, so I know that that's factored correctly. So hopefully you're going, oh yeah, I remember how to do that. Yeah, we've done that for years. So this is what, we do a lot of factoring with trinomials, okay, with quadratic expressions like that. However, when I have just 2, so Magda, this will kind of address your question. So what I recognize is that my n's are perfect squares, okay? There's nothing I can take out, simplify, but I've got perfect squares. So I know, though, that under these circumstances, I can only factor 2 perfect squares that are separated by a minus sign. That's the only way that those will factor, okay? So if I were to factor this tells me that my signs are different. The 2 things that I need to multiply here and here to get a y squared are y's. And the 2 things that I would multiply here to get a 49 would be 7's. I'm just square rooting the n's. This is the difference of 2 perfect squares. The difference of 2 perfect squares will always factor, okay? Always. So again, if I check this, my first gives me this, my out gives me -7y, my in gives me +7y. They cancel. That's why I do not have a middle term. I don't have just a y term, a linear term. And then when I multiply these n's, I get a negative, okay? So hypothetically speaking, let's take the same scenario except change the sign, okay? Oh, no, goodness gracious, 49, okay. So if I just change the sign, I still have 2 perfect squares, but I have the sum of 2 perfect squares instead of the difference of 2 perfect squares. So if I were to try to do this, this would tell me that my signs are the same, and I don't have anything to tell me what they are. So, because I don't have that second term. So if I were to just guess, because I don't know what to do, I could possibly just stick pluses in there for lack of not knowing what to do. And then I could square root this. I know that 2y's multiply give me a y squared. And what if I just said, well, let me just put 7's in here. But if I checked this, if I did my first, I get y squared. But if I did out, I'd get plus 7y. And if I did in, I'd get plus 7y. Sorry, this is getting really sloppy. I forgot we're on the camera. Okay. And then if I did the ends, I'd get 49. But if I combined those 2, I'd get a 14y, but there is no 14y in there. So this would be, a situation like this would be prime. It is factored as much as it can be. Like, there's nothing you can do to it, okay? You cannot factor the sum of 2 perfect squares, only the difference of 2 perfect squares. Okay? Any more questions? If y'all don't have any more questions, we'll call it a day. So everybody, I'm assuming then that everybody is good with their assignment from yesterday, and then you didn't have any questions about that. The factoring is the only thing on this review that's kind of old. The rest of it is very recent, so you should do fine on that. But I just want to make sure we don't need to tie up any loose ends, because we're going to move on to the next section tomorrow and start doing trig functions. I'll give you about 3 minutes maybe. sure do miss having you guys in here. Are they quiet? All right. Again, I will get my hands on your packets today at 10, and I'll start getting them graded. So you should start seeing grades appear in GradeLink today, probably over the next maybe 2 days. I'm hoping to get it done by all of it done by tomorrow. And I'm still intend on sending them back to you so that you can correct them to bring your grades up. You know, that's not going to change. So, so you'll be getting, so next week, next Monday, you'll get the new assignments for the week, but you'll also get what you just turned into me graded, and you can correct it and send it back. So it could start getting thick, you know, in about 2 weeks. But we're good? Still nothing? Still no cries for help?
No, I said the sound is good, they can hear you drinking.
Oh, yikes. Sorry.
No questions.
All right. Awesome, guys. I'm so proud of you. And man, do I miss you. Man, do I miss laughing with you and starting my day with you. So I love you all, and I miss you. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm available in Parent Square all the time. All right? Bye, guys.